Hey guys, well, welcome to the Save Continue podcast, where every week we get together and talk about video games and video game related stuff. Also, my co-host Tommy Scialpi,
Shelby.
Shelby,
There you
and
go.
Ryan Robinson like to laugh and make fun of me.
What's up?
Yeah.
Yeah, but how you guys been this week?
Not bad. Not too bad. Just kind of hanging out, being at home all the time.
You
Yeah,
loving it?
Yeah.
You love it so much.
I played some Mario Maker 2.
Oh, how's that?
Pretty fun, man. Pretty fun.
Would you
I'm mostly just playing other people's levels.
would
But
you
there's
say
some
it's
really
better?
creative stuff. Yeah, it's like an upgrade to the first one. It's basically the same, but there's a few changes. But some really creative stuff that people come up with. So it was a good time. I got my niece into it. Like she's owned it for a long time, but other than making a few of her own levels, she hasn't really like played other people's stuff. I was like, yeah, you got to connect online, and then you can play their stuff. And then like she likes playing their stuff, but more than that, she likes liking their courses and commenting on their courses. And it's like
She's
it's
a
like
critic.
well, because it's really like the only form of social media that she has available to her.
Oh, yeah.
So she's fucking 6 or 7 years old. So,
I mean, she
but
doesn't need any social media, but yeah, like,
yeah,
yeah.
but she really enjoys liking people's courses, and that was a lot of fun. Played some video game Monopoly with the family,
nice.
and
Did you win?
no, I did. I lost horribly,
Well, we're gonna have to need
real
it
bad.
in this podcast right
Yeah,
now.
but other than that, just the normal stuff.
Near,
Yeah,
Shadow of the Colossus.
mostly near. Uh, some Resident Evil here and there.
Nice. Nice.
What about you, Ryan?
Man, I've been playing a shitload of games this week, y'all. Alright. I'm gonna run it down for you. One, I finished Ghost of Tsushima and got the platinum in that some bitch.
Fuck
Uh,
yeah!
my first platinum in 5 years, so go me.
Hey,
Jeez,
at
wow,
least it's not. At least it's not in 6 years.
Uh,
it's true.
I the last platinum I got was whilst Thomas and I were living together. It was the for Diablo 3. But yeah, Kaylee and I sat down and like we're just like we're gonna get the platinum in this, and so we both got the platinum in it. It was pretty cool. Um, and
Is it
then
hard?
no, not really.
Yeah.
None of it has to do with like there's no difficulty related stuff. There's not that I can remember any like real like tough combat related trophies. A lot of it's just like collectibles and going here and seeing this thing,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
most of it's like story stuff. Um, there was one that I really liked where the trophy was you have to kick a guy off a cliff and kill him, and that was a really fun one to get. And then a few days later, I returned to Spider Man and got the
It's a
platinum in
good game.
Spider Man.
Yeah, that's an easy platinum, man.
Yeah, but I was how long did it say it took me? It took me 6 months because like yeah, I got I got the game 6 months ago. I played through the campaign, and then I just kind of stopped playing it and uninstalled it, and I saw how close I was to the platinum, so I reinstalled it and finished it up.
Did you
Um,
do the new game plus?
no, Kaylee did though. She did the new game plus and beat it on like the hardest difficulty.
Yeah.
So that was really
Fuck
cool.
yeah, Kaylee.
The DLC is also really fun so far. I'm in the middle of the second piece of DLC right now. It's
I
really
haven't touched any of the DLC.
yeah, it's
Like
really neat.
I platinumed it like the week it came out.
Yeah,
Never touched any of the DLC.
the DLC stuff is actually very very cool. And it's basically centered around like Black Cat and her dealings with the mob and stuff. So it's really neat. Um, I got back into Darkest Dungeon, which uh, I I was thinking about it, and I was telling Kaylee about how it's amazing what what a fresh perspective on a game will do for how you feel about playing the game.
Mhm.
Specifically, in that I've always struggled with games that had permadeath in them. Like, if a guy dies, then I'm just like, well, this whole thing is a wash. I'm done. And so, like, and then so I had to come to terms with the fact that that is part of the whole experience. That is like that's built into it.
Name the characters after people you don't like, so it doesn't feel that bad when they
Yeah,
die.
it's no different than XCOM. Like you got into that.
Yeah, well, see, I had that problem with XCOM too,
Yeah.
and that the thing about the difference between XCOM and Darkest Dungeon is I can save scum in XCOM, and so
Mm.
I would save scum and like dude dies, like nope, I'm rewinding time, you're gonna make it out alive, and it's the same thing happened with XCOM too. Is that like when they die, like that's just part of it, right? And I'm learning to like accept that, and
Learning how to let go.
yeah, yeah. Well, it's like it's difficult sometimes because like you get a guy who's got a lot of skills. He's a powerful member of your group, and then he just bites the big one.
Like
I
like
think
your
it's worse.
roster like fits
I
really
think
well.
Yeah,
like it's to me it's worse in games like Fire Emblem when you play with permadeath because like you actually gained like some attachment to those characters,
Yeah.
whereas in XCOM they're just like a fucking blank slate, you know?
yeah.
Uh, and like with like Darkest Dungeon, at least last time I played it, like at least they all have like the same personality. They're all like the hunter dude or whatever, like the guy with the dogs. Like they're all like
Right,
the
right, right,
dog.
right.
They might be different colors and a different name, but
But
it's
it's still
that
just
dog guy.
generic character, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, at least with like Fire Emblem, you're right. Like they each have a personality, whether you actually get to know what that personality is or not.
Right.
yeah,
So like in XCOM, I'm like, fuck it, kill as many of them as you want. I'll keep playing, you know.
yeah,
They mean
But in
nothing.
Fire Emblem, I'll try to keep them alive, you know.
yeah,
Yeah, I haven't touched Darkest Dungeon in a while. I looked at it not too long ago. I want to say like 2 months ago. Just like opened it up to see what it looks like now.
yeah,
And every time I open that game, it feels like they just changed everything, and I don't know what that game is anymore. Because
yeah,
even playing it from whenever I played it and was like talking about it on that old Check It Out versus
yeah.
when Ryan started playing it, a lot of things changed at that point.
Yeah, so I'm kind of going into it like I want to be able to, everybody that's in my group, I want to optimize them as best I can. So I want to make sure they have the best skill setup that they can have, and I want to like put them with like the best like party that I can get together. And so I was
Yeah.
You need
actually,
to make a Suicide Squad.
well, I was looking,
Some kind of Suicide Squad.
I mean, like, there's like times where like I had the characters I really liked, but like things were like happening to them where they almost died. So then I
Yeah.
would just do like suicide runs with characters I didn't give a fuck about, and then get the bonuses or whatever from that, and
yeah.
give them to my real good guys.
Yeah, but well, I was looking up a guide, like, cause like you're able to find guides for like all the different character types, and I found one for the bounty hunter, and they were like, okay, well, these are the 4 skills that we recommend sitting him in with, and like one of those skills doesn't exist in the game anymore, so
Yeah,
they replaced it with like some other skill. So I was like, okay, well, I don't know how well this works, so I kind of had to, so I ended up having to like I ended up improvising a little bit instead of looking for a more up to date guide. But like, I actually
you
went I actually went to like a run. Like I've never had a party wipe before, like not a single time.
Oh yeah, no, that happened to me a bunch.
And then like it actually finally it happened to me for the first time today, and like there's something about like the way that like all the other party members like react to it when like another character dies. Like they
Yeah,
become
they start going insane.
yeah, they become increasingly more hopeless. Like they're like, well, like every time someone dies, it's like, oh my god, we're doomed. We're not gonna make it out of this. And it got down to the last person, and they were just like out of their mind. And eventually, the like everything got to them, and they had a heart attack and died. But it's fun. It's actually like
I
I was always really frustrated by that game because of like it spikes in difficulty very abruptly, and that had always kind of served as like kind of a barrier to me. But I don't know. I went into it thinking about it a totally different way, and I don't know. I find that I'm enjoying it more. actually.
I like whenever they're going like they start getting stressed and then like they'll have a good reaction from it,
Yeah,
where it's like natural born leader, like
yeah,
and like they all look like super awesome and they're
yeah,
like I handle stress so well and
yeah,
it makes me laugh because like I mean every now and then I handle stress like super well and I'm like, oh, this is stressful, like let me just step up to the plate. But like it is really funny just like yeah, no, normally I'm a hot mess, but like
yeah,
I'm glad that they put that option in there to like stress will make you better.
yeah. And as you can see back there, we started playing Infamous Second Son today, and
That's a
All I see is
very
the
easy
chair.
platinum.
yeah,
Easy
but
platinum, fun game.
holy shit, dude! Like the game is fun, but
I like Infamous.
oh my fucking god, with this Delson guy, like I just like my memory of him was removed by like a while, like a few years, but like now hearing him talk and the shit that he says now is just so fucking cringe. But um,
I
I
never played the second, just the first one.
yeah, I only ever played the first one also, like except for this one, and the game is actually uh, it's held up better than I expected it to. Like it still feels very fun to like move around in the world. It still feels really fun to like be in fights and stuff and use the abilities and everything. Um, I could
It feels like an early
Wasn't
game, though. You
yeah
know?
wasn't
yeah.
that a PS4 launch title?
No, but it was in the locked window.
Yeah, I actually went back to see what like the day that I got my first trophy
Yeah.
in the game, and it was March of 2014.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it
um,
launched March 21st, 2014. I just looked it up.
yeah, so like
No, the console launched in the winter,
yeah, and then November.
not in March.
Yeah, and
The
November of
infamous
2014.
Second Son launched March
Yeah, the
21st,
game,
2014.
sure.
That's
The
what I'm talking
console, no.
about. Yeah.
Yes.
No,
And
I looked it up after you told me that I was wrong, that it came out afterwards. I was like, all right, well, what day? And I'm just saying, like, the game launched on that date.
yeah,
It also launched the same day as Titanfall, Metal Gear 5, Ground Zeroes, and nothing else that looks
at the
good.
time, I think Titanfall was an Xbox exclusive at the time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Titanfall, the first Titanfall is still
Yeah,
an Xbox
Xbox One.
exclusive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but yeah, game's still fun. We're kind of like we're doing this thing now. We're like we'll play the same game, and then we'll both try to get the platinum in it. And so far
That's fun.
we're two
Well,
for two.
Infamous is very attainable.
Yeah.
Very attainable.
Yeah, it just I could like well you look at the map and you're just like, well, I bet there's a trophy for that. I bet there's a trophy for that. Because it's just
There's a trophy. There's a specific trophy in Infamous Second Son that I remember that was quite fun. You know how you can like go through the little smoke vent and shoot out the top of a building?
yeah,
Like you have to do a few of those in succession, and like
Yeah.
it's pretty fun.
yeah. So
Other than that, most of those trophies are boring.
yeah, a lot of it's like shoot this many cameras, break this many things. So but you know it's gonna be another one. I was telling myself that after Ghost of Tsushima, I wasn't gonna do another open world platinum, but then I immediately went to do Spider-Man, and now I'm doing Infamous.
But they're very manageable open world games, though. You know,
like this
those
is,
are small open worlds.
yeah, this isn't like because I've always felt like I would always try for the platinum in Far Cry games, and two things would
Yeah.
stop me. One, it's just too much, and two, there's a fair amount of co-op trophies in that, and I usually can't be bothered to like set that up.
But like
Bother.
the map of Infamous Second Son is probably just barely bigger than the Great Plateau in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like that's a significantly small open world.
yeah. It feels large because of like how many people there are like walking
Yeah.
around and like all the shit that's happening. But
You,
yeah,
you shaking your DualShock?
yeah. Well, I was telling like I don't know if if I ever told you guys about
Just real shaking it.
the time there was this kid at a sleepover who made it a point to eat his stuffed crust pizza backwards. And,
Oh, you're supposed to.
yeah, like in the commercials tell you
Right.
to.
That's what they told you to do.
I don't follow their fucking rules. They're not
Well,
my dad.
like Kayla was doing the graffiti thing, and she was holding the controller like horizontal ways, and I was
Yeah.
I was trying to show her like, no, you gotta hold it like.
Yeah. It works better like that.
I mean, yeah, it seems to work well enough, like without like doing the gimmick. But
Yeah.
and we were talking about like how that game like uses so many like things in that controller, and but like that's how it always is with the PlayStation launch games, right? Like the PS2,
First party,
or
yeah.
close to launch games.
The PS2 had the pressure sensitive buttons. The Bouncer used those, and then you had with the DualShock 3, like a lot of like there were games trying to incorporate 6-axis stuff.
Yep.
Like MotorStorm was
What's
doing
the?
it.
I'm trying to remember the game that was at the launch because it was PS3 that it came out with. That the controller had that touchpad, right?
No.
Or is it
PS4.
PS4?
PS4, yeah.
Okay, is it Infamous the one that like where you had to click it to get the map to pop up?
I mean, that's like a shit ton of games, dude.
Yeah,
Well, I remember like I could only navigate the map through that touchpad, and I was so fucking mad about it. Like I was like,
I think it works best as like an inventory map button.
yeah.
I don't want to have to press it at all. I want to be able
Yeah.
to change how the buttons are mapped, press a different button, and my map pop up. I don't want to have to press and like navigate that thing with the touchpad because then I have to like rearrange my hands to see where I want to go instead of just like using the analog. Because I remember I couldn't use the analog stick to move the map. I had to touch it.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I just remember
It's to immerse you, Shanae.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it
You
did
don't
the
want to be
opposite.
immersed.
It infuriated.
That touchpad is the fourth dimension.
Fuck the fourth dimension. I don't need it.
And then lastly I played a little bit of Dragon Ball FighterZ, and I don't know. I could already tell that I will be garbage at that game in perpetuity, but it's a good time. It's a very good time.
I think you'll be surprised. There's a much wider audience for that game than a lot of the fighting games you and I play.
Yeah.
Which means a lot of lower level people for you to compete with early on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I did finally find the area where I can go and put a team together and just practice their moves together. So that was cool. I chose my team and I just kind of went in there for a while just to practice, and it felt good. And that was about it. I played a lot this week, but
I've just been playing a lot of Pokemon, to be completely honest. I'm on my way to become a Pokemon Master. I've gotten 4 of the gyms done.
How close are you to catching them all, Shanae? That's all we need to know.
So far. So far away from it.
How many did they put in that one?
So they're going back and keep adding more to it. I feel like eventually it will be the national dex again. So I don't know how at the moment how many you can get in there.
But do they have like Alolands in there or no?
So you can get Alolan variants through like raids and like other means. And apparently, if you do get the DLC, which I haven't gotten yet because I haven't run out of things to do, and I haven't hit any blocks where the DLC is going to be real beneficial for me, in my opinion. Because apparently the DLC does add a lot as far as like raids and like different Pokemon you can get, and but yeah, like I do a lot of the surprise, like they call it surprise trading, but it's like throwing a random Pokemon, somebody else gives you a random one, and so I've gotten I've gotten a Alolan version through that. And then, I'm trying to think what else so it's different than when I played Moon. It might not be, and I might be remembering wrong, but like I like it because this one you can set up the trade, pick your Pokemon, and then go off and do things, and it'll just like give you a little timer for a button to press, like, oh hey, trade's complete, and it's nice because I don't have to, because as I'm like going through and like searching for like maybe items I missed, or like just going and like grinding out some stuff so like certain Pokemon will level up, I can trade for other Pokemon and like build my decks. And if I'm like missing like I want a specific one, I'll just keep trading until I get a one that fits what I'm looking for as far as type wise. And that's pretty convenient, to be honest. I still have yet to find anything I want to complain about. I love all of it. I feel super immersed in like Pokemon world, and I like the amount of interaction I have with other people and how I can choose it. Like, so some of these raids, like one of them I was having a trouble with, and you have to have 4 people, and so most of the time I just like robot it up so like I can do it. But I was having a rough time, like, just put it out there on their link command thing, and like pretty quickly got people busted it out. I'm like, oh, and so like I started doing it more, and it's been really nice. It's been like a lot of fun, like seeing like people's different outfits and things like that. And I, like I said, I'm about to be on the fifth gym. I think there's only 8, and I don't have anything I'm mad about.
Yeah.
I They did change it, and like where Sword and Shield had for at least one town, I don't know if it's other ones, different Pokemon gym leaders, which I feel like is new. And I am a little disappointed that one of them I don't get to fight because I think that their character design looks really cool, but it's not like
Well, now you
I
gotta
don't feel
buy
like
the other one.
That
no.
was always the point, Shanae. That was
Hey,
always the
Shanae,
plan.
I can't remember. There was that game that released on Steam earlier last year that was like a Pokemon clone that like people were into for a while.
Shit, I know.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
I know
talking
exactly what game you're
I
talking
know
about.
exactly.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. I can't remember the name,
But you
but I
haven't
remember
played it?
I didn't play it, but
No.
you showed me to it. You suggested to me. I watched some videos. I agree that it looked like Pokemon, but
Yeah.
it wasn't, and I cannot remember the name of it. Like I know what it looks like. It kind of
Temtem.
looks
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a Pokemon meets
Yeah,
what?
Temtem.
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 Yeah.
Temtem Triathlon.
Yeah. Well,
You really need
I just got
bust out that emulator, play some Pin Pin Triathlon.
I just got some Pokemon that I just paid money for, and I'm really enjoying.
Like real
Cool,
money?
dude.
Yeah, of my own money. And then Berto's gonna buy like a super fancy gaming chair.
Like one
And
of those race car ones.
With like
Yep.
really high
Oh,
back,
God.
like up to here.
yep, I
Oh
told him I told him
God.
it looked dumb, and I told him to research it. And his now that we're in our he's in his 30s. I'm still in my 20s. But now that for another like 6 months, I'm still in my 20s. But his like his back has been starting to hurt. I'm like, well, how like good are those chairs for your back? And like, and if you're not a teenager, so
Not
now he's
very.
bought. So he just ordered an ergonomic chair.
Would it be impolite for me
'Cause
to
I
ask how much that chair cost?
I don't know how much. I told him a limit because we spent 900 to finish out my PC. So we put a limit for how much he could spend on the chair, and he also wants to replace his headphones. And I was like, you can put your own money in, but like our save share money to spend that much and whatever else you want.
Okay.
So I don't know how much he spent on
Better
the
be
chair.
a badass chair, man.
I was like, it probably was a couple $100.
You remember that chair
But
from Roundhouse?
Yeah. I remember
I
that
always
chair.
wanted that chair.
It's just that it looked like a lazy boy.
Yeah, but you could drive it around.
Yeah, but only the dad could sit in it. Hey, you're the dad.
I mean, that's what the chairs do in Idiocracy.
Yeah, they do.
Let's just go live in that world.
Nah, I'm alright.
What is it? President Comanche Rondo?
Yeah. Oh, real quick, I also played Carrion. I was really excited about that game. Just want to throw it out there. The game's cool.
What do you think of that game?
I think it's pretty neat.
Do you?
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. The only thing so there's obviously a story there. I don't know what it is.
There's
but
not. Not
okay,
really.
I figured there would be because there's parts where it has you go from monster to man, and like the man does stuff like really really simple puzzle shit, and
Yeah.
then and I can't tell if the man is there before or after the monster was there. But I'm really more interested in the stuff being the monster. That's the whole reason I bought the game, is to be the monster.
You're gonna be the monster for the most part.
Yeah. So far, I'm enjoying being the monster. It's a very, very fun experience for me so far. I just want to make sure I mention that because I was looking forward to bringing that up. So.
But yeah. So this week, Ryan, you wanted to talk about some of our greatest gaming achievements.
Yeah.
And
All this platinum shit had me thinking about it.
so on mine, because I'm not a platinumer,
Sure.
I don't think I've ever platinumed or
A
100%ed
platinumer.
anything.
Yeah, you're not a
I don't.
platypus,
Yeah.
dude. You're not a platypus.
Corey, the platinumer.
The platypus.
I don't think I've ever platinum or gotten all the achievements for any game. Uh, like I always even when I plan and set out for it, I normally always like fall like one or two short. Where I'm just like,
Yeah.
I'm close enough. I don't give a fuck. Like I'm good enough in my heart.
Yeah. I've definitely gotten over it. I used to really love it, like especially on 360. But I just kind of got out of it after a while.
I'm one away from the platinum in Hellblade.
But I just have
for the little runes.
I don't remember.
Is that what it is? The
I don't
little
know.
collectible runes?
I don't
I
know
bet
what
that's
it
what it
is.
is.
Maybe.
so I
That's
don't
the one
necessarily
that
have.
fucks everybody.
I wouldn't necessarily say that the greatest of achievements, but I in my list of things, I just have things that made me really excited, and I felt proud that I did in a game, whether they are impressive or
Same.
not.
Yeah. This is for you, man. This isn't for anyone else.
I've got
This is for
several
you.
that are not impressive at all.
Yeah, but this is just for you. Like if you did something and you were like, hell yes, I did that, then that's what it's about.
All right, so who wants to go first?
Shanae.
Are we gonna take turns?
Yeah, Shanae, go first.
Well, I mean, we can go around the house if you want, and if someone has like a longer list, they can finish it up. But the first one that came to mind because I've been playing Pokemon is Whitney in Soul Silver, and maybe Lance as well in the same game.
Okay.
Houston?
Lance Houston in Pokemon.
Sure.
No,
That's a pretty
but
cool name, though.
Yeah.
not Whitney Houston either. No, she's a gym leader and she has like a milk tank. I think she might have even had a couple of them. I can't remember exactly what it. So it's a cow Pokemon and it can like drink its own juice to give itself health.
Gross.
I've heard of this.
That is
I've
so
heard of
gross.
I kind of want you to just like go Google like what a milk tank looks like. And so it's like she's like known for being difficult to beat in the first Silver game because it just keeps like rehealing itself, and then it has like a move called Rollout that like unless you have a high defense or a lot of HP would just like one shot a lot of Pokemon the same level that it's at. So either you have to like grind a lot or like figure out the best combos at the time because like IVs weren't like they are now, like and wanting the perfect stats. I mean that still existed, but it wasn't like in the forms that it is now. And yeah, no, like I just remember like playing it over and over again and finally like beating her and being like, fuck yeah, and then kept going, got to Lance, who's also difficult. Then my game shut off and I realized that I just never saved any of it. So then I had to go back and redo all.
I just want you to know,
That's funny.
Shanae, that this milk tank thing is gonna be in the thumbnail this week.
Do it. Yeah, no, so that milk tank gave me a real problem with drinking its own moo juice.
I just picture it being like, because it's got the udders right there on the tummy.
Yeah,
going
just like I mean, so the milk exists in the game, and it's already in like containers.
Yeah.
So like, I just want to know, like, does the Pokemon just carry on containers and just like
Sure.
squirt, squirt, squirt?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, you're maybe not supposed to know.
I hope I mean I never until now put too much thought into it.
That's a funny looking thing, though. I like it.
All right, Tom, what's yours?
I'm going to start with my first one, and that's completing Codename Viper. That's the first game I can remember ever beating,
Hell yes.
and I was very, very excited, and that's it.
Yeah. Is that the one where you and the boss killed each other at the same time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, had it not counted that as me beating the game, I would have had to start over from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Which I definitely would not have done. You know, my sister and I had beaten other games together, but this is the first game I beat by myself, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's an old Capcom game, and I was very, very excited about it.
And that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
And also, like, most of my friends can't seem to remember the first game they beat, like, completed by themselves, you
Yeah.
know? So I like that one a lot.
Yeah.
Mm,
Mine's on this list. Definitely, it's on
like
here.
I feel like mine's probably like by myself, like a Pokemon game, because
Yeah,
a lot of the Nintendo ones, like either I just never beat or I beat with like my siblings or cousin.
Yeah.
sure.
All right, what do you got, Ryan?
Okay. Let me consult my grimoire. All right. So, mine is actually the first time I beat River City Ransom by myself. I had always played through that game with either my cousin or one of my friends, and so I had never had the experience of going all the way through the game by myself, doing that grind by myself, um, and that's especially it's it was significant to me because the second to the last encounter in that game is against the Dragon Twins, which is like you got to fight them both at the same time. They have like crazy moves inspired by Double Dragon, and they're hard to beat. And I beat them by myself at 8 years old, and I was super excited about it. Funny thing about that is, after I did that, I went ahead to beat the last boss. It took me like 3 or 4 tries. I beat him, and the funny thing about it is I've never been able to do it since. But I'm really excited that I was able to do it at least once because it took so much effort. And when I was 8 years old, I was a lot more prone to video game related frustration, and there were a lot of times where I thought I was going to give up, but I overcame it, and I was excited, and it was the best summer
You
vacation of my
succeeded.
life. So,
Um, yeah. So the next one I have on my list is um probably like the Bravely Default. Like I've talked before about like trying to make the guide, but like up until that point, without getting someone's help or looking up online or trying to like find a guide in a store, like I don't think I've ever like beat an RPG like
yeah,
100% without any help,
sure.
Yeah,
without looking up like or getting stuck somewhere, like without having to like because I have like another one on here that somebody helped me get that I still have an account for myself, and it's from when I was like a kid.
yeah.
Uh, but I don't know. Like I felt like really proud. Like even the like the guide thing never really like panned out. But like I don't know. I was really proud of like all the work I did in that, and like I feel really
For
accomplished
sure.
in that game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know how much you did, but like I imagine that compiling any percentage of a guide is not an insignificant amount of work.
So
Yeah.
I got like all of the like what you're supposed to do like throughout the game, and I got most of I think most of the items that you can like find at least like labeled and how you got them.
Yeah.
And then there's like buns that you can buy that do stat differences because the stat differences on all the characters are kind of minute. And then you also have like dragons that you have to fight. So I was like working on trying to min max with those like with the stat differences and then some of the enemies and
Yeah.
like what I thought was like the best idea. So some of the fights I was like going back and like doing different stuff on each one to see how well because like with that game you can kind of make any character like any class and it doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily affect too terribly much because the stats are so minutely different.
It's really cool. I should.
So that's when I like once I like was just kept playing the same things over and over again, and I didn't feel like I was getting any headway with like making anything better. That's when I stopped. But I got the whole like walkthrough down, just not like good
That's fucking awesome
details.
though. Like I was sitting on the couch with my daughter this week and I was stuck trying to do something in the game, so I consulted a guide. And I consulted several guides, right? And I told her, I was like, I could write a better guide than this. But the thing is, I won't because I'm fucking lazy, you know? So, like, at least you did. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I had like a Microsoft Word document
Yeah.
that I was doing it on, and like it was like pages and pages of
Yeah.
stuff. And then like I had a second one for all like the ideas that I had, and then I also like made an outline for it. And I got pretty far and then just stopped. And I kind of wish like I just like I was so close. Like I could have like just edited out the min maxing shit and at least put something out.
Yeah.
And now it's on my parents' computer.
You need to retrieve that immediately and put it in the cloud or something.
The cloud.
Yeah.
What about you, Tom? What do you get next?
Okay, this one's kind of weird, but just getting more comfortable with gaming software and hardware. And this started maybe, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago or so. I imported, have you guys heard of like an A320, like a Dingo A320?
Mm-mm.
So there's tons of these now. They're very popular now, but back then they were less popular. Basically cheap Chinese handhelds that run emulators off of them, so you could like download a bunch of ROMs illegally and play them on the go. And that spiraled into things like switching out 72-pin connectors in an old NES, or putting my GDMU in the Dreamcast, or taking the clock capacitor out of the Xbox, or fucking making fight sticks or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like, just becoming more familiar with that kind of stuff is definitely something I'm proud of. And, like, getting my daughter into that shit is really cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So
it was really cool, like, hearing you talk about, like, how you and your daughter were gonna, like, you started doing a project together, and or like just even now, like how you just casually say, you know what, I think I'm gonna build another fight stick, which like it's not something that I would say casually. Like that'd be just like, it was just something that I would like have to ruminate over for a while.
Well, the interesting thing about it is like none of these things are difficult to do.
Yeah.
But just like the fact that I wanted to do it enough to learn how to fucking do it.
Sure.
I like that stuff, and it's useful. It's useful, like very seldomly, but every now and then it's useful.
Well, I mean,
if Sandy ever needs a new pin connector for his NES, I can help him out.
Well, like I just like it's what's cool is like you literally built your own controller. And like I've built 0 of my controllers. And,
right.
And like I look at your. I remember the first time you brought over that fight stick, and like I looked at it and I was like, well, first of all, this is cool. I have no idea what any of these buttons do because they're not labeled. But this is really cool, and it was cool. Like I think that like because it like seeing you do that also really piqued my interest in like the customization of fight sticks and like what I would want to maybe do for my own fight sticks. So that, I mean, it's really cool like, listening to you talk about it and watching you do that stuff.
Yeah. So that's it.
What you, Ryan?
Okay, so I decided that I would go with going through The Last of Us 2 on grounded difficulty, which is it is the enhanced difficulty level that they introduced with the remastered version of the game.
Wait. The Last of Us. You said The Last of Us 2.
My bad.
Okay. Because I was like, did you do that? Do they have that?
Yeah, and actually, I'm not sure what difficulty levels they have for the second one. But anyway,
because grounded on the first game was hard as fuck.
Yeah, so it took me 2 weeks. So the way that it's set up is they completely remove the HUD, and all of the weapons are rebalanced so that they do what I guess would be considered a realistic amount of damage. And so I can't.
Which is to say, not much.
Yeah. So one of the indicators that the game would give you as to the state of Joel's health is if he's like holding his side as he's walking. And Joel spent the entirety of that run holding his side. But like, there was like so many parts where like I just like had to watch the same death animation over and over and over and over, even after like breezing through it on like the default difficulty. And I just had this determination, like I have to do this. I don't know why I have to. I just have to.
I gave up on Grounded. Like during the winter section, because I remember I was playing as Ellie. I gave up on Grounded.
Yeah, and which is I can't remember how much harder it gets after because you remember there's a section in the first one where you're going through like a sewer with that guy and his little brother, and you kind of have to sneak around. So that was the part that like I was stuck on for the longest period of time. So I don't really remember how much harder it gets after that, but like. I remember finally like finishing that last boss encounter and like seeing the credits and just saying to myself like I am never fucking playing this game again. But I was so proud of myself because I just saw it. I was like, I wonder if I could do that. I've never beaten a game on the hardest difficulty level before. I wonder if I could do that, and I did it. So, and it's hard.
Nice.
Don't do that. It is not a fun way to play a video game. Don't do that. But it was cool though. I was proud of myself for doing that.
My next one is, I think I've mentioned before, the main thing I remember about Final Fantasy VII is the chocobos. And that's because this is what got me. I think I almost put like 2 more Square Enix game like achievements. I was like, you know, Sinead, like you gotta lower this down.
No.
But I gotta, just, you know, I mean, I've talked before about how much I love Square Enix, but like, what got me into them was definitely Final Fantasy VII, and like I got a gold chocobo in that, and that was like a lot to get it done. I don't know if it was necessarily difficult.
Over everything, right?
So yeah, it's like the last chocobo. You have to like breed them to like certain ones, and I
Yeah.
remember I got to the black ones and was like having a hard time, but like my sister's friend, who sometimes stayed with us due to myriad of reasons, but every now and then would like maybe like once or twice a month like spend like 2 nights with us. And it was his game that he just like left over, and like I remember him like helping me and like telling me where like which ones I need to breed and like how to do it and where to get them from. So I know like I got help and like how to do it. But I still remember getting a gold chocobo and being super stoked to like show him whenever
Yeah.
he like visited next, and that I did it. So like I don't even necessarily remember exactly like which ones you need to get where, but I do remember like I do viscerally remember breeding those bitches.
Yeah.
I made them have babies and lots of them.
I remember I played through Final Fantasy VII. I didn't play through it. I played a lot of it back in middle school, and like my friend and I, like all we cared about was the chocobo stuff. We just wanted to breed chocobos and go to the golden saucer and race those chocobos. And
The chocobos were the best part. Like I
was-
didn't give a shit about any of the rest of it.
yeah, and like because I had the strategy guide, and it had a whole section on chocobo breeding, and they were like, because the blue chocobo could run over water, black chocobo can run over mountains, gold chocobo can run over both. And I was like, I have to get that gold chocobo, and I was so excited. Like I was,
Wasn't there a green chocobo too that you had to breed with the blue one to get the
Yeah.
black one?
Yeah, I don't remember exactly how it worked, but like, yeah, that gold chocobo, like you just run over like the entire map with that one chocobo. It was like the coolest.
Yeah. No, that's what I did with it. I just
Yeah.
ran around everywhere. I was like, once I got the gold chocobo, I didn't do shit, and I gave it just ride it around, and like I would like see things that like could fight me, and I was like, that's gonna be a hard no on this.
yeah, yeah.
It needs to stretch its legs. I don't have time for a fight.
What a great side activity! I love that.
Yeah, but no, that was on my list.
Yeah.
What about you, Tom?
I got the Tetris Effect beta, and I like it's weird. It's weird to be excited for this one, but I am like for I want to say for marathon or endless. For one of them, I was like top 3% in the world,
Hell yeah.
but it was the beta, you know.
So who cares?
So like that, the number of players is significantly lower.
Is it more than 10? Yeah.
But
Then be happy about it.
I was super psyched about that.
Hell yeah, man.
Like that's a short one, but yeah,
That's really cool.
that got me hyped.
Yeah, I've never
I
been
mean-
top 3% in anything, so that's awesome.
Yeah. Well, it makes me think like
You're top
'cause-
3% in my heart.
Well, it's like we have
Thanks.
But it's
like
beta.
these guys in our Discord and our Instagram who are like doing all these insane things, right? Like abs breaking fucking Daytona records and shit like that, you know. And it's like I'll never get to that point, but top 3% is pretty good, you know.
Also, like, a lot of people have played Tetris. It's not like a niche
Yeah.
game where like nobody has played it or there
Sure,
isn't like a lot
sure.
of history with it. Like, it's
Yeah.
not like,
Yeah.
it's not a new thing. This is something that many generations have been playing, and yeah, no, be proud. All right, not Tom. Ryan, what you got next?
Okay, so I have the first time I did a spinning pile driver as Zangief in Street Fighter.
Dope.
Let me tell you something.
I'm down
today.
for that.
I have been playing Street Fighter for almost 30 years. And not once until recently have I been able to do a spinning pile driver as Zangief.
Oh, I didn't know when this happened. Okay, it's recent.
Yeah. I was 35
I have a similar thing.
I was 35 years old when this happened.
That's very funny.
I was in practice mode as Zangief. Zangief is actually, I can't play as him to save my life, but Zangief is actually one of my favorite characters in the game. I think he's great.
For like design and personality.
Yeah, he's just cool. I think he's a really cool character. But I've never, one of the things that has always kept me from playing Zangief, and still keeps me from playing, because I can't do this. I will never be able to do this in a fight, I don't think. But I was in practice mode, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I have this fight stick. I'm gonna fucking do it. And I put in the input. Zangief grabbed the dude. It went up into the sky. I lost my fucking shit. I immediately texted Tom. I was like, Tom, I fucking did it. I've been playing Street Fighter for over 25 years, and I fucking did it. And it was cool. Like I did it a few more times, and it was a cool feeling. Like, because I've never. Let me tell you something. 360-degree motions with the stick to do the moves are like, they're hard for me because I always end up jumping. I think that's what happens to everybody. You always.
Yeah.
But I did it. And I did it a few more times, and I was satisfied.
So what's funny is, like, Capcom's the worst about it, but everybody does it, where it shows the input as a circle, right? Like it's a 360. When it in fact is not.
Yeah.
You don't have to do anywhere near a full 360 to pull that off. But yeah, they are hard for a lot of people. They're hard for me. But
yeah, they're hard for you.
If you get a hitbox or a mix box, super easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, after I heard about what the hitbox did to your hand, I'm not sure I want to go down that road. But yeah, I was really excited.
His strong hand.
I was really excited to do it. Maybe one day I'll be able to do it in a fight. I doubt it, but we'll see.
Well, the harder ones are the supers, where you have to do like 720 motion.
Well, like you got me with the super, and like it was like. The cool thing, the greatest thing about the super for Zangief is that right before he pile drives you into the center of the earth, he whispers sweet nothings into your ear. Then he flies up in the stratosphere and then drops you down.
Does he really?
He doesn't whisper.
Well, he's
Does he yell sweet nothings in your ear?
He's yelling in your ear. Zangief is always yelling, but it's cool.
So his version of whisper, okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So like. I only have 2 more, but my next one is I finally figured out which game it is. It is Spyro 3, but the egg track with the egg thief, when it like gets faster after the first time you catch it on the track, and getting it on the so in Spyro 3 there's like a track where it has like speed ups that you can do, and like there's parts you have to glide, and like you have to time it all right to like catch this egg thief, and then after you do it, it's like, all right, here's a faster egg thief. And then they just like charge up the things a little more. And I would struggle with that faster egg thief all the time. Like I remember like asking my sister or somebody else to see if they could do it. Nobody else could either because they didn't play the game. Only I did.
That's funny, man.
I just wanted to see someone else do it, and then like I would give them advice as if I could do it. But I finally got it, and I remember telling my sister. But yeah, it's because of me like playing a lot of Spyro and like getting her to try the things that I wasn't good at to see if she could do them.
Yeah.
She actually got the trilogy when it came out on PS4.
Yeah, I did too, but I dropped off. I don't know why. I started playing the first one, really enjoyed myself.
She beat them all, and she's like, "Yeah, well, it's because like I got her into Spyro like by me being like, big sis, like I can't do this."
Yeah.
Because she's like, out of all of us, she's probably been like the least amount as far as like into video games, like growing up. Now that she has like teenagers and like kids, and she wanted to know what they're playing and talk to them about it, she's been playing a lot more. And it's fun seeing her like now that they're like 17 and 19, like buying video games for herself.
Yeah.
And not just because they can play it together or like anything like that, or that they may be interested in it. And it's been pretty fun. But I spent like I just remember like just being like, woof, and like getting like needed to stand up and like stomp around a little bit because I did it. And I was just like, yes, this is over with. I fucking caught that egg thief. Thought I could get away, could not. And like I would leave the area and like go do other stuff and then come back to it because I just would get frustrated.
I just
Yeah.
I just imagine like Sinead putting the controller down, like pacing around the room, like angry, like.
Oh yeah, it's like it was like a
Dude, I've been there though. Like I've been
like
there.
it was. I needed to get it out of my system that like I did it. I was just like, oof, like, and no one else was gonna like. I don't think. I think it was just like my mom home, and she like, and I wasn't
Yeah, she
allowed
was
to
not gonna praise
yell.
you for that.
I wasn't allowed to yell in the household, or I couldn't like throw things. Like I remember, like it, like I would very quickly get yelled at if I like was like possibly gonna ruin anything. So I was just like, let me get it out.
That's funny.
But yeah, so so I have that. And what do you got next, Tom?
Mine's similar to Ryan's last one, and it's actually very recently learning to combo in King of Fighters. Like learning the way combos work in King of Fighters is something that I've been playing King of Fighter games since I was a little boy, and like I just tried to play them like they were
Just a
Street
wee
Fighter
Thomas.
games. I tried to play them like they were Street Fighter games, and they're not.
Can't do that.
So yeah, learning to combo in those. I've got like this king combo now that's like 30 hits and does like fucking 4/5 of their damage,
Jesus.
like almost a full health bar in one combo.
Yeah.
And like getting to the point where like I not only understand how it works, but that I can execute it to that level. Even though it's way later than it should have been.
Well, you also didn't put as much energy probably as a wee Thomas, like sitting there trying to figure out what the combos for this game was and why they're different than Street Fighter.
No, yeah. When me and my friends were kids, or me and my friends, when me and my friends were young, we just fucking
butt mash.
chuck fireballs at each other over and over again, which I guess I still do sometimes, but yeah.
But your friends are older now, so.
Well, now it's strategy. Before it was cheating, But,
What
yeah.
about you? What about you, Ryan?
So I do have another fighting game one.
All right.
This was, I think, within the last 6 months or so. So if you're not familiar, Shanae, in Mortal Kombat, there's a thing that someone can do after they beat you, called a mercy.
I was gonna say fatality. I was like, I've heard that word before, but no, mercy, I don't know.
So a mercy is basically like it's just so if fatality are a way to kind of just flex on somebody, like just to get it,
finish him,
get that last one in, just to rub it in their face. A mercy is more of a taunt. A mercy like lets the loser get a little bit of their life back, so they can try to mount a comeback. And it's really more of a taunt than anything, because usually when someone does a mercy, they're very confident that they'll be able to win after doing so. So pretty recently, I was playing against someone who had performed a mercy on me, and he just he was beating the shit out of me for most of the match. He didn't
give a fuck what your name was. He was demolishing.
It was really ugly. But then he did the mercy on me, and I guess he got too cocky, and I came back, and I've never, like, that was the first time I'd ever come back after getting a mercy performed on me. And I remember Kaylee was sitting behind me in the living room, and I just jumped up out of my chair, and I was like, "You got a mercy, me, bitch!" And then, like, and
I bet she loved that.
Yeah, I was just so excited because, like, it was so great to me because I could just imagine the other guy. I just imagine how pissed off he was that he flexed on me like that, and I hope his boys were watching when it happened. Because
well, it's funny too, right? Because like Mortal Kombat is one of the only fighting games that really has a mechanic for you to be an asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like that's what that is. That's what fatalities are.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like anybody that's like really fucking good at Street Fighter, that's the mechanic to be an asshole.
I don't think being good makes you an asshole,
Yeah.
But I'm just imagining like Ryan like yelling at the TV, like, "You're gonna mercy me," and like Kaylee in the corner just be like, "That'll do, pig. That'll do."
No, she knows how I get. I get very loud and very enthusiastic. But yeah, it was cool because like I don't consider myself to be great at any fighting game, but
No, that's super fun.
like when
Like,
stuff,
you guys gonna
oh man, when stuff like that happens, it's so fucking, oh my god, it's so perfect. And I hope he still thinks about it because I certainly do. But yeah,
a lot.
yeah.
Yeah. So my last one that I have like written down is beating StarCraft 1 with my cousin. So we were like 8 or 9. And like I think I've told you before, like we would play it and then or like I would play it and like my dad had his own game and like it got to a point where we like got further than he did and so like I could like give my dad advice
Yeah.
on like
Yeah.
what to do in a scenario. And yeah, it was like it was a good family thing. And then like my brother got into it, so it was like, and I think me and my cousin were like the first in the family to beat it together. So like it was nice to like be like 8 or 9 and finally feel like you can like have a conversation, give information that like to an adult.
Yeah.
And it was, and not only was it like a fun family thing, but it was like one of the first moments I got to be a know-it-all to my parents, and it just, you know.
That's a good one. Like, and what's funny is like at 8 or 9, I wouldn't have been able to beat StarCraft. You know?
Absolutely fucking not.
Oh yeah, no, I would like, because I mean like we had like AOL internet. Don't get me wrong, but like I wasn't allowed to get on it really because like the phone.
Right.
I was like, I don't know where I feel like I got some information from an outside source, but maybe my cousin. But like it was just like me and him just spending hours going over missions, like
Yeah.
redoing them, finding like one of us noticing that like, oh, like you get more like Vespian gas if you like place it in this position, or like doing like other small things and having like two eyes and minds working on it, I think is what got it to happen. Because he's like the closest in age to me. Like all my siblings are 10 years older than me, and he's only a year older. So we were like 8 or 9 or 9 or 10.
Yeah. So my last one is actually similar to yours, Shanae, except it involves making adults mad and not helping them.
Really
So,
shows
like,
the kind of different people we are.
Yeah, no. So like it's like
I mean, I still get to be a
it's like
know-it-all.
It's the year of GoldenEye, you know, and it's all me and my friends play. We don't play anything else, just fucking split screen GoldenEye. And I had this friend Ryan at the time, not this Ryan, obviously, but I had this friend
Y'all
Ryan
weren't
Gill,
friends then.
and I would sleep over at his house. And me and his stepbrother and him and his father, we would play GoldenEye. And man,
Oh, yeah,
I would
this
just
story.
kill his dad again and again and again. And it got to the point where his dad's like yelling at us. We're little kids. This man's yelling at us, telling me that I'm a cheater, that I must be cheating, and I wasn't cheating, you know. But like,
It's like you got a job, Mr. Stewart. Like
Yeah,
I don't have to do anything besides play this game.
yeah, but I remember thinking, wow, I'm making this adult really mad, and it's just because I'm better than him at this game, you know. And
If I was, like,
I'll always
beating my-
remember that.
If I was beating my dad in like Tekken, he would pick like certain characters where he could spam a move to where I couldn't get out of it. So there's definitely times my dad would get frustrated and like pick those characters, and like I would know that he's getting frustrated.
Yeah.
But the same thing, like there was like days where we played Tekken together, and like he just was kicking my ass, and I had my own characters that was the same way, and he would just like get mad.
Yeah, for sure. I think everybody.
But
that
like
way, right?
that's
but
that's a normal adult response.
right.
Like-
Exactly. And yeah, it's just his dad yelling at me, yelling at his sons. And, like, it's
Do you
so
have
fucking
to
funny,
always have a good friend named Ryan in your life? Like, is it like some
no.
sort of contract?
It's only been these two, so, and I don't talk
I mean-
to that other guy.
Yeah, but I mean, like that Ryan was like filling the void until this Ryan, and you haven't given this Ryan up in forever. So I mean,
I will.
Okay.
all right. Since me and Tom are done with our list, what else you got, Ryan?
Okay, I just have a couple more. So I have Final Fantasy 15 on here,
Mhm.
and because it is the first
Hanging out with your bros.
well, it's the first Final Fantasy game that I've ever beaten. in my entire
Really?
life. Yeah, it's the first Final Fantasy game that I've ever beaten. Um, and it's incidentally my favorite. Uh, and I know that I'm certain that there are plenty of people who are curious about that franchise and probably aren't too into like the huge departure that game is. But for me, it was the Final Fantasy that I was able to get most into, and the one that I wasn't able to that I just didn't want to end, and I was really sad when it did. And but I had never beaten a mainline Final Fantasy game by myself before, and like I went straight through it, and it was awesome. It was a I
You
was
really like that game. I
yeah
remember you beating it.
I fucking love that game. And I I never I'm glad to say that I've actually beaten a Final Fantasy game because like I've never been able to say it, and I know that there are like a plenty of
But
great
you've
ones.
played a bunch. You've played a
Yeah,
lot of them, and
I played.
you know basically the storyline of a
I
bunch.
got all the way up to the last Sephiroth fight in Final Fantasy VII and stopped playing it.
Sephiroth.
Uh,
Well, I know you've played like a decent amount of 13 because you and I have talked about 13 in the past.
yeah, you know what? As an aside, like lightning is really fucking cool, and people just need to fucking chill out. Uh,
I
cause
I think she
Well,
gets
it's
a lot
like
of hate for her game being one of the first linear games in the franchise, like to the point of what it was, as far as like
well, it
being one
does
of the
open
numbered
up.
games.
It's like opposite of 15. 13 and 15 are opposites, right? Like 13 starts linear and opens up.
yeah,
15 starts open and closes in.
yeah.
But
Uh, but yeah,
I mean, I guess I never got to the point with 13 where it really opened up. The entire game felt pretty linear to me. Like I didn't really have much of an option on any of this.
yeah.
But I didn't ever beat that game, so maybe I just stopped playing before it opened up.
probably.
I also, as an aside, I also think Final Fantasy 13 is very cool. But yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, I think I just figured that's where a lot of the hate comes from. Is just like how vastly different as far as like that went. I mean, the combat system and making the like different like types and combos and stuff that was
yeah.
from before a Final Fantasy game. So people who like shit on that, I feel like you don't really have a leg to stand on because these other games did it.
People liked the combat of 13. Like, it's one of the few things that was praised. But
Yeah, it's
Hmm.
just, but yeah, Final Fantasy 15, my favorite first Final Fantasy game that I ever beat. Maybe will be the last. I don't know. We'll see what Final Fantasy 16 looks like. But
well, I'm waiting
All right.
for you to do Breath of the Wild. 'Cause didn't you say we should do a topic? Because didn't you say you'd never beat a Zelda game as well?
yeah, that's also very true.
Yeah.
I did
I'm about to beat my first Halo game.
I did
Yeah. See, this could be a topic.
yeah, I did actually want to. I'll talk to you guys later about it, but like, Zelda fits very well into something that I've been wanting to talk about for a little bit. When I say for a little bit, I mean for the past few days. But
All
yeah,
right, next one.
the last one is
You should save the last one for the Last of Us one.
the last one was actually Wolfenstein: The New Order. It was another one of those things where uh, I saw the hardest difficulty and had to do it. I had never played through it before, so my first playthrough was on the hardest difficulty of the game, and that was also while Tom and I were living together. It was actually his copy of the game that I did it on. He let me borrow it. Yeah, it took forever because that game is fucking crazy on the hardest difficulty. There are a lot more Nazis than you'd expect, but yeah, I was really excited because like I had never like I'm not that I don't feel like I'm that great at shooters, especially ones that are like really fast and frenetic like that. And like it's a game where like shooters like that, very often enemies will be on all sides of you, and it is as opposed so like a lot of modern shooters have you like finding somewhere to take cover and like popping out to take shots, whereas games like Wolfenstein like they really want you to keep moving and you have to keep running around,
Run and gun.
yeah, and sliding around. And but yeah, I beat that on the hardest difficulty. I couldn't say that about the new Colossus because that game is fucking broken, I think. But yeah, I was really excited when I did that, and maybe I've kind of gotten to the point where I'm not actively seeking the hardest difficulty in video games anymore. That just happened to be while I was doing that. But I'm really proud of that because I don't know anyone else who's managed to do that. So go me.
I'm proud of you for
Thank you.
all of those reasons and more. You too, Tom, sometimes. Do y'all have any closing thoughts?
Not really. I mean, like, I don't know. It's weird to like give yourself a pat on the back with a lot of this stuff, you know.
And it's just stating that how you felt, and the fact is, like,
Yeah,
everyone is so hard on themselves that if you don't recognize the positive, like, you're gonna go crazy.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, the fact that like I've beaten StarCraft is the whole reason that I haven't given up on the fact that I am terrible at video games for every year after that. And I mean, yeah, like I do know what you mean by it is like weird to give ourselves a pat on the back, but I do think that like so many people do think that accomplishments has to mean like that platinum or some other metric made by other people. But I mean, all of us talked about like are just things that made us feel good.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and feel accomplished in like different ways. And like some of it's funny and some of it's like that's a really hard thing to do.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think it's like good to like point out things that like where you're not measuring yourself up to somebody else.
I only claim like 5 of the platinums that I have. I feel like most of them are like baby platinums, you know?
Well, I don't even have a baby platinum nor an adult platinum, so like
Yeah, but like
take your wins.
Like you could play The Walking Dead and you'd platinum that game. You know? You would.
Yeah.
Actually,
Everybody that plays that does. You know?
Maybe I platinumed the Game of Thrones Telltale's game.
You probably did.
Yeah.
Hey, I've gotten a platinum before.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't count those.
Oh, well, let me count it.
Sure, you can count it.
As close to a platinum as I ever gotten is just playing it through a Telltale's game. But no, I'm glad you brought it up, Ryan. It made me think about stuff about games because a lot of times when we try those topics, like of course, like the games that we always think about, like pop in my mind. But I do try to always like think of things that I necessarily haven't talked about, or nor do I think about super often.
Yeah.
And
I was hoping that one of you would say you had like a DDR high score or something.
oh, I'm so bad at DDR.
Yeah.
All of like a lot of like my gal pals and like best friends and stuff like would love it and like be all and but I'd be the person on the side like at the arcade just like eating a hot dog and like drinking while they do it.
It's funny that you mentioned that because I was looking through my PS2 discs earlier this evening and I saw my DDR disc, and I
You gonna play that?
I looked at it and said, "Not yet, old friend," and I kept going.
So like my manager, I'm sorry, it's a little off topic, but like speaking of like things we haven't thought about. So my manager today brought up that like he was really happy that he was able to fix his PS3 because he was doing that Rocksmith game to teach himself guitar. And he is the only person, and like, first of all, I didn't even think that he had like a gaming console. Second of all, like, regardless of age, I just like, and then second of all, it is like, I think he's the first person outside of when I worked at GameStop that I've ever known to actually do it in like real life. Because like, of course at GameStop, like I talked to the customers, I sold the game to them and like the accessories. But it did make me super happy that like, yeah, like that's still a thing that you can just go back and use and do, and that's like it's something that someone's actually using to like improve it. He's like, yeah, that's what I've been doing during the quarantine.
I don't know if they still make Rocksmith, but like as of a few years ago, you could still get like new versions of Rocksmith on Steam. Rocksmith is a cool tool. Like that's edutainment, if ever there was any.
As a matter of fact,
I don't know if there's any more on the PS3 because I don't like any updates on that.
I might have to. I might have to go back and listen to it, but I think we brought up Rocksmith during the edutainment episode.
Yeah,
listen to it.
I mean, we probably did, but yeah, I just like it popped in my head, and I was just like, oh, that's. It was just like just like I forgot that it existed, so it just like hurt my brain to remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And y'all are the only two I know that has like know what Rocksmith is, so like
Yeah.
I just thought it was a cool thing to pop up again in my life. But yeah, if you want to tell us about any of your achievements or things that you're proud of with your gaming history, or to comment on ours and tell us that we should not be proud of ourselves, you can hit us up on YouTube. We have a Discord. We have an Instagram. We do have a Twitter and Facebook, and even if they aren't like active, and
Hey, I
and
like retweet things on there. I
yeah,
put the minimum amount of work in on Twitter.
yeah.
It
But
counts.
bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.